And we should be live. Welcome, welcome. This is Rapid Fire Q&A. Let's keep it clean. And I think you know what I mean because YouTube has rules and I'm going to answer your questions in a rapid fire format. And in the timestamps, you'll find questions there. I'm specifically going to timestamp questions that I had spent a considerable amount of time with. And I'm going to jump into the first question. I'm currently taking Qualia Mind. Can I take Lion's Mane 8-1 along with Qualia Mind? I've been doing this so far with great results. That's a great question. People often ask this. Should you use Lion's Mane as well as Qualia Mind? Is it safe? Because with Qualia Mind, like there are so many ingredients. With Lion's Mane, we know that there's a lot of good benefits with it, specifically with mood. People seem to feel a bit more curious about things. They enjoy learning. They aspire to learn more. The reason why Qualia Mind, firstly, the reason why Qualia Mind did not include Lion's Mane in the nootropic blend is because of the fact that Lion's Mane can often be demotivating. In fact, that happens for a lot of people. It does bring up mood, but the reason people use Qualia Mind and shop for Qualia Mind is because of the fact that Qualia Mind does improve performance. So it's a performance enhancing blend. That being said, what I would recommend is use Lion's Mane, see how you like it. If you do like it and you don't notice it demotivates you, then depending on your goals, you can go ahead and add it along with your Qualia Mind. And I cannot see any questions. What's up, guys? But that's, yeah, the question there was, I'm currently taking Qualia Mind. Can I take it along with the Lion's Mane 8-1? Honestly, I didn't feel better with Alpha-Brain after one bottle. I'm waiting for Qualia Mind to arrive. Alpha-Brain, it's a lot of people don't actually see that, but what's super interesting is with it is the fact that during people's last week of using Alpha-Brain, they seem to notice it working more. It does have Bacopa. It has L-Tyrosine. For most people, though, they feel L-Tyrosine like as soon as they ingest it, which is interesting. But as far as nootropic blends, I hate to break it, there's like nothing really new. A lot of people have been asking me about Thesis, which is a nootropic blend kind of customized based on a questionnaire that you fill out. And I did try Thesis. I really enjoyed it. They the particular blend for Logic was very good. They had some ashwagandha there, so it's good. It's just, I mean, it's one of those things if you can actually afford it. There we go. These comments are working now. I just started taking Andrographis. Do you take it or have you taken it? I don't know anything about Andrographis, but I'm open to learning more. And I looked through all these comments, so I've never even seen anyone mention that. I've been taking Lion's Mane. Here's the question that we can show it outright. Pops up nicely on your screen. I've been taking Lion's Mane, Alpha-GPC, Rhodiola Rosea, phosphatidylserine, and Noopept for a little over a month, but don't see effects yet, only minor. How long should I be taking this to see full effects? With that kind of stack, you should be noticing something within the next few hours. But these are, like, if you look at those nootropics out there, nothing's really too stimulatory, with the exception of some people feel when they ingest like Rhodiola Rosea, they are a little bit more calmer. It does help to fight off fatigue. So if you haven't noticed much from it yet, I would guess that either you're just not sensitive to the nootropics that you're taking, which is okay. You can ask people if you've seen any sort of difference, and maybe it's the doses, but it's a pretty light stack overall. Like this is the thing about this nootropic channel. It's very interesting as we're on our 4-year anniversary. My first video was on the same day, 2018, same place, just a better camera and more subscribers. With this channel, the people that tend to come back to the videos and enjoy them are mostly people that are somewhat sensitive to nootropics, let's face it. And so you may unfortunately be one of the people that just don't notice them working. Of course, it's easier for me. I'm in a 100% commission-based sales job. I'm like hypersensitive to what's working. So of those, what I can do is I can kind of share with you what you're most likely going to notice working. Phosphatidylserine probably first. No, excuse me, Rhodiola Rosea first, then phosphatidylserine, then Noopept, then Alpha-GPC, then Lion's Mane. It's kind of like that. And of course, the other thing you can do is look at where you're getting them from. You can always try a different brand. With Lion's Mane, that's pretty common. I'm noticing I'm more motivated when I take Alpha-GPC versus L-Tyrosine. Could it be I had a choline deficiency? It's interesting you say like Alpha-GPC versus L-Tyrosine, because most people use Alpha-GPC in conjunction with their nootropic, the other nootropics. It serves for like a great foundational nootropic. So I don't really see why you would take one or the other. You can always combine them, but of course it could be because you're choline deficient, because choline is a really important nutrient for all things cognition. It's probably not only motivation you feel. You're probably thinking better. You're probably planning better. You're probably memorizing things better. Probably you're in a better mood. L-Tyrosine, kind of short lasting. You can feel motivated, but usually for about 90 minutes or so. And I found that with L-Tyrosine, it's like the more stressed you are, the more L-Tyrosine seems to work. There's research showing they've given L-Tyrosine to some really like just stressed out people and stressed out circumstances. They've given it to astronauts. They've given L-Tyrosine to people when they're like dehydrated, sleep deprived, and it's one of those nootropics you're really going to notice working when you're stressed, and not just like mental stress, but physical stress, all kinds of stress. Is L-Tyrosine with Adderall bad? So I've not used Adderall, but with my limited experience using some of these stimulants, we'll call them stimulants, L-Tyrosine is not that noticeable. Same with things like nicotine too, unfortunately. You just really don't notice them working. But the way in which I would using it, let's say, because I was using Concerta in the past for ADHD, I still would use L-Tyrosine just pre-workout, because I did see the benefit of using caffeine pre-workout, using L-Tyrosine pre-workout. But when it came to using L-Tyrosine like during the actual workday for that boost of motivation, there really wasn't a point. And if I was to use Adderall, like people are shocked that I haven't used Adderall for whatever reason, but it seems so scary to ingest something and expect the fact that the next day is going to be worse, and then the next day is going to be potentially worse, right? But I've never touched it for that specific reason. What is the best nootropic for an IT guy? IT, it's a very analytical job. It's very fast-paced. So something like L-Tyrosine can actually do you some good. If you're going to use caffeine, then be strategic. I would spread it out a little bit. And if I kind of got to know a little bit more about your specific job, because everything changes when you have to be social. You have to make presentations. That's when you got to, especially at being like in IT, being an engineer, being an architect, you need to know how to like turn off the monotone IT side down and be able to be a bit versatile with your communication. How do you like to cycle Tongkat Ali specifically? I have learned with Tongkat Ali that you actually should cycle it. Whereas before, when I first started using it, like it's a pretty new nootropic to me. When I say new, Tongkat Ali, maybe 2 years. That's new because most nootropics I've been taking probably seven or so years more, and then some of them longer, some of them less. But with Tongkat Ali, when I first started taking it, I just thought you could continue to take it. But after about 4 to 5 months, I noticed I wasn't seeing the same benefits. And during that time, like 0 to, let's say, 5 months, I maybe took off weekends or something. But when I took about a month off, I did really see the results. So what my recommendations would be, not that this channel has recommendations because we're not allowed to do that. I'm giving information and you can do with it what you please. 2 months on, followed by 2 weeks off is good. If you've already used Tongkat Ali for 3 months, like every day, then I would go and, or like 3 months or longer, I don't see anything wrong with taking a month off. But the good thing is that there's other natural testosterone boosting supplements that you can use during that period that you're cycling off. So usually like when I'm cycling off nootropics, I'm typically adding other nootropics there during that time that I'm actually off them. So I'm not actually off all nootropics because research shows there's really like no reason to do that whatsoever. Nootropics can work with different neurotransmitters and stuff, right? So what I would do is I would, during that month that I'd be taking off Tongkat Ali, I would use something like testosterone, one of my favorites now, or so far. Again, it's still a new nootropic, or something like Tribulus, which I'm already using. And yeah, I really missed how that felt. The first time I took Tongkat Ali, like I was just wanting to bench press. I felt stronger, libido being high, and it was great. Guys, don't mind giving this channel a thumbs up. And share this channel, share this live stream with somebody that you care about. If you don't share this live stream, it's because you don't care about people. So go care about them. Good stuff. What's the best nootropic stack for medical students? Great question. There's 2 videos which I would recommend. The nootropics, the best nootropics for studying. And then there's another video that I made, the best nootropics for exam cramming. But the ones which I did mention and highlight, Bacopa Mineri, great for memory, great for stress. Piracetam is going to be really good with learning, going to be good with discipline, energy levels, willpower, things like that. And of course, use it along with choline. We cannot make more of an emphasis of using choline. Alpha-GPC is one of the greatest things ever. Adderall is getting a lot of love here. Would you recommend me the other nootropics instead? The Zin, it depends what your goals are, but I can kind of break it down for you. So Zin, you asked this question earlier, been taking lion's mane, Alpha-GPC, Rhodiola Rosea, Phosphatidylserine, and Noopept. If you're using great nootropics and they're kind of all in different categories. You have your adaptogens there which are going to help you to relieve stress. You have Noopept, that's going to really help you with motivation, going to help you with drive. So I don't really see, you have to really understand that these are not very stimulating nootropics. Like what is your expectation from these nootropics? And you really need to ask yourself that. How will you actually know if the nootropics are working? What would be happening in 90 days? Would you, if you're a student, would you be getting better grades? If you're in sales like myself, would you be making more money? Like, you know what I mean? You got to be planning things out, and then you could kind of reverse engineer, like they say, like the entrepreneurs say, reverse engineer. I just added Cistanche to my Tongkat. Hey, no one's talking about Cistanche anymore. I really like it, but I'm still using Cistanche every day to my Tongkat stack. Also, I'm on TRT gel. I've done TRT gel. It did nothing for me, absolutely nothing. Started Cistanche for mood and increasing LH, which stands for luteinizing hormone, which is going to be good for building muscle, right? Very cool. So Cistanche, where I really like it, isn't necessarily for the libido boost or the testosterone boost, but more so I have found that I ingest Cistanche daily, and I tend to stop overthinking, not overanalyzing, like be okay with just taking action, and taking action knowing that if things don't work out, that's okay. We just got to continue to take action, like be out of our head and just do. So Cistanche is a great nootropic that way, and I'm surprised that it's one of my favorite newer nootropics. I've still reordered it every time that I'm out, and I'm getting that from Nootropics Depot. I'm not sure of any other vendor because it's the first time that the first time I used Cistanche was with Nootropics Depot, and didn't really see any reason to switch off of it. Don't know what the heck you just said there. Would you go into the diet and health side of things in the future? Perhaps if more people request it. I mean, I started before nootropics, like well before nootropics. What inspired nootropics was when I was younger, I grew up pretty overweight, and then I like maybe not crazy overweight, but perhaps like 30 pounds overweight. And then I had to learn how to be disciplined and exercise and learn nutrition and learn macronutrients and count on my calories. So I was pretty structured. And then you know, you find that supplements can help to improve the results a little bit, and then you know, you kind of go on that journey. So I think there's people out there that can definitely explain diet, health, things much better than me. I don't necessarily have the certifications to do so. Well, I also don't have the certifications to say anything about nootropics, but I tend to enjoy, and I hope you all enjoy it too, explain nootropics in a more practical way than other people, because they'll change your life. Be patient though. Be patient and keep on looking for the limit. It's like you have to keep on looking for the limitless stack while being okay with not getting the limitless stack. It's like you're on this journey, because we're all in this new nootropic thing. I look at the analytics. I can tell that the majority of the viewers are somewhere between age 23 to 40, and we're all trying to get rich overnight, right? And it's cool. It's cool. L-Tyrosine and where the heck is Fallon's Fox? L-Tyrosine is cat claw, right? No, cat claw is two different things, or so I think. Yeah, luteinizing hormones. Sir, please make a video on turmeric. Cool, I can consider doing that. NIC salts changed everything, in my opinion. I would love to know more about that. I saw your videos about lion's mane, and you recommended 8-to-1. Have you tried 10-to-1? I've not tried 10-to-1. I've not tried 50-to-1. My understanding, based on what I've read about lion's mane, is that anything above 8-to-1 is most commonly going to be marketing hype, so not that trustworthy. People have had really good results with 8-to-1, so I would go there first with the dual extract, and then if you don't see results with it, you can always switch it up. Okay, very cool. Do you play golf by any chance? If you do, do you have any nootropic recommendations to improve my golf game? I'm so glad that you mentioned it. There is actually one nootropic specifically that they did have noticed better results for. I think it was L-theanine. Remind me later. I'm pretty sure I could come up with a study. It was either L-theanine or Bacopa, but they did try. But the subjects used this nootropic, and they did see that their golf game did actually improve. And it was L-theanine, and it wasn't even caffeine and L-theanine. It was just L-theanine independently. By the way, I took 200 milligrams of L-theanine prior to this live stream. Not that I wanted to. It's just that I saw a great nootropic blend that I have called Mental Freak, and I'm enjoying that. It is responsible for fertility. Okay, cool. I used to take 600 milligrams of L-theanine before every football game and smashed it. There you go. Could really help with performance, especially like performance anxiety. That's what L-theanine does. It calms you down, keeps you centered. But the question is will it really improve your performance or get you motivated? Like when you're in a football game, you're already there. You have no choice. You can't just go on the sidelines and walk off the pitch like someone did a couple of days ago. So you're already there, you're centered. But the issue people have with L-theanine is like they just don't really want to work in the first place. And this kind of goes back to the question about the med student. You may want to consider adding something like Noopept or oxiracetam or some low dose caffeine just to get you motivated to get started in the first place. because I think everyone has this tendency to, overcommit, right? But this is great. I miss doing these live streams. I'm glad I pushed myself. I just got here. Is there any racetams yet on the market? Oh gosh, watch the video that I made about it. Do you believe in Huperzine-A and Gingko together are redundant or could work well together? No, I don't think both nootropic supplements are really that effective. If there is any of the two, which could be, then it would be Gingko Biloba. Here and there, I do read, I read a lot of the comments, well, all the comments, but I also do look at the studies and I look at the anecdotes. And there are a few individuals with that maybe aren't elder, are young individuals in their 20s and 30s that do see good results with Gingko Biloba. But Huperzine-A, very rarely do I see anything good. I've tried it so many times on and off, so you could consider using them together. They're not they're not like stimulatory. In most cases, they're not going to elevate your heart rate or have something uncomfortable happen. So I think they're okay to take together. But I think most people would use them because they're accessible. They're very affordable nootropics, right? Cool. Do you, day 4 of no Dexedrine or Adderall after years and years, and I feel 100% better. Man, that is so awesome. Congratulations. Because, yeah, for example, there was a time when I was using Modafinil, which I understand is nothing like Adderall overall. But with Modafinil, using it daily, and then you take a bit of a break and you realize how much more present you feel. You don't feel anxious. You're able to really connect with people, not just on a logical level and want to get words out of your mouth, but empathy, understand people. So good on you. And watch a couple videos. I've made a video how to overcome Adderall withdrawals. A lot of people seem to like that. But the key to overcoming Adderall withdrawals, or the key nootropics, L-Tyrosine is going to be really good. Alpha-GPC is, of course, going to be good. Rhodiola Rosea. And keep it simple and just take breaks, because most people would just go about their day and they will grind the whole day. I'm doing this live stream very late, but it's because I intentionally have breaks during my day to reset my energy levels, and that's what you're going to need. And just don't be too hard on yourself. If you think a bit slower, if you're talking to people, words may come out of your mouth a lot slower than usual, and people will notice it, just your rate of speech. But that's okay, right? Do you use nicotine? I do once a day, typically, just to get me in the nice state of journaling, typically. So at the end of the day, I'll do a 5-minute journal and I'll write out my 10 things I'm grateful for, 10 affirmations, and sometimes I'll just spray some nicotine just to get me in a nice state to do that. Because morning routines are easy. Morning routines, your willpower is high. You're ready to go about your day. Evening routines, they're equally important, but they just don't get done because your willpower is like a muscle, right? It needs to be recharged. What are the best nootropics? It's cool. I'm really glad we're getting people here. I should do these more on a Friday night. I was thinking people would be out, but then we got time zones and stuff, and I'm here working. I'll rest Saturday and half of Saturday and Sunday. But if the people around me know, I will put in the work. What are the best nootropics that don't develop tolerance and can be taken on a daily basis? For me, Alpha-GPC, L-Tyrosine, caffeine. Probably these 3 over everything. People are but this is very, very variable to the individual. For example, caffeine, most people build a tolerance. I really don't. 50 milligrams of caffeine is enough to get me somewhat energized. 200 to 300 milligrams is what I would typically use pre-workout. L-Tyrosine, that one as well. So I found with L-Tyrosine, probably L-theanine as well. Maybe 30% of people would need to cycle off periodically. With that one, you can go weekdays on, weekends off. But for myself, I can take L-Tyrosine every single day of the year and still feel the benefits. Other one now that comes to mind, if you're looking to boost your testosterone levels naturally, Tribulus terrestris. That one's a bit iffy. There's not a lot of science kind of showing Tribulus could work, but because I was on CRT in the past, I get my blood work done periodically, not only for testosterone levels, but also for my thyroid levels, and things are looking good. I can't specifically say it was caused to Tribulus, but you kind of get a feel of knowing what works. People may dislike that, but that's okay. Yeah, man, everyone's asking about these racetams. What will help me pass Linux exam, Bacopa or Mucuna? If anything, Bacopa. If you're disciplined enough to get to study in the first place, Bacopa is really going to help you with learning retention, short-term memory, long-term memory, especially visually. You'll find Bacopa is very effective. I find something like Piracetam or Pramiracetam, it's maybe not visually, you can retain things as well, but more so socially. How to deal with blood pressure from Noopept, just lower dose. Eat more frequently. That's often an issue, and that's the case with other supplements as well, right? lower dose you can consider taking. But one thing with Noopept that I just want to remind everyone about, taking it under your tongue is a whole lot more effective. Not that practical, of course, getting in the powder form, but we're talking about doses like 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams. It is, you can't eyeball it. You need a scale. Once you're a little bit of an experienced user, then you may be able to eyeball it. And I think Lift Mode or somewhere did actually have these micro scoops, but if you just visualize 10 milligrams, it's very small. So that's one way you can just put it under your tongue, leave it there for 20 seconds or so. You kind of, you feel a bit stimulated. You feel a bit energized. It's great. How long do you feel modafinil for? I think just like the whole day. So my practice is I would wake up, do my morning mindset exercise. With 30 minutes there afterwards, I would typically take modafinil. In most cases, it'll be with phenylpiracetam, because at the end of the day with modafinil, I typically feel the side effects. I get anxious, I get nervous, I can't perform, and my energy levels are actually lower than they typically would be. So I use phenylpiracetam along with modafinil, very small dose. We're talking like 80 milligram dose of phenylpiracetam. And then, yeah, at the end of the day, if I'm still feeling it and I notice it's likely to interrupt my sleep or prevent me from sleeping, then I will take a little bit of Phenibut, maybe some melatonin, maybe some dream water, but not too often. I've not found modafinil has really affected my sleep too much. But if anything, it's phenylpiracetam. Like, boy, is phenylpiracetam strong. Keeps you up. I really do enjoy modafinil, which it'll surprise a lot of people. So I just posted that video this week actually talking about modafinil. And if you all want me to do a comparison video again of armodafinil versus modafinil, I can do it again. I did it before, but it was like, before I had a camera, the actual production and some of the science that I showed wasn't that solid. But perhaps I can make a video again if you guys want that. Sorry, long answer to a question that I'm not even sure everyone else cared about. But I'm happy to see all you guys here, and new faces here too. Let me know where you're from. I'd appreciate that. I was 10 stone when I was 10. I feel you. Okay, clearly we have England in the house, or the UK, because they weigh in stones and we're in pounds or kilograms. I think 1 stone is 13 pounds. 1 stone is 13 pounds, something like that. Have you tried Brain Plus by Revive? Thoughts on lithium? Lithium people like mood, better energy levels. I've not personally tried it, and I've not used Brain Plus. First time enter live. All right, I'm gonna start doing it around this time so we can hit help everyone. Do you take Cistanche AM only? Have you ever tried taking half at night or another dose at night? I haven't, but that's also because I don't really find the effects of Cistanche too short. I find them short lasting. Also, it's really not that effective. It does something, but for most people, I wouldn't put it in their top 5 nootropics. I would try other things first. It's more like there's all these newer nootropics, and I like to think something is going to work, and I found it to be somewhat side effect free. Actually, when I first started using Cistanche, what that looked like was I would use it in the afternoon, evening. I didn't notice it much, and then I figured, okay, anything which is going to boost testosterone and not have side effects if you take it fasted, why not use it pre-workout in the morning? So that's the reason why I use it pre-workout. But perhaps I can try it. Although honestly, I don't think I would notice anything at all from taking Cistanche twice a day. Piracetam is not strong like Concerta. Hold on, let's take a step back. Nothing is strong like Concerta. That's why it's Concerta. That's why there are side effects. The first time, when you take Concerta for a long time and you get off Concerta, then you start to realize just how bad it is for you and how negative the side effects are. Those withdrawals you get from Adderall, from Concerta, it's horrible. You're gonna want to be in bed. You're not gonna want to talk to people. But what's worse is like your thoughts and your thought patterns, and you find yourself going down that rabbit hole, right? So yeah, I really don't like Concerta. That being said, I'm not your GP, right? Have you used saffron? If so, what's your opinion? Only in nootropic blends. Perhaps I can give that a shot. Take that individually and see how I like it, right? It's pretty popular in nootropic blends. Perhaps it makes the other nootropics out there more effective. Which is better, Piracetam or Bacopa? If I had to choose one of the two, it would be Piracetam. That's me myself, and the reason for that is just more energy, more like mental energy. You find you can you can focus for long stretches of time when you use Piracetam. Bacopa, I just don't think that it does anything that great besides the fact that it improves your memory. Yes, it helps with stress tolerance. Yes, it helps being in a good mood. Does help people feel more centered. But if you're kind of like wired like me and you just, you like really really want to be your best self, you want to grow every day, then I don't want any nootropics that could potentially compromise that. And so Bacopa has not been in my top 5, but I really like it for stress, for feeling centered. But if you were to ask me Piracetam or Rhodiola Rosea, I'd probably say Rhodiola Rosea, because it fights off fatigue so effectively that allows you to get a few more work hours during your day. What combination do you recommend to boost your mood all day and be social as well? The lion's mane, so it's not even a combo. I think the two most popular nootropics for this specific purpose are going to be ashwagandha and are going to be lion's mane. With ashwagandha, you feel very centered, you feel very calm. I guess the other one would be aniracetam, but that's more around like social anxiety, verbal fluency. Not even like social, but more like aniracetam. It's anything racetam is going to be, in most cases, better for work, right? Better for work, you're a bit more driven. So I see aniracetam probably more useful in like a sales kind of context, but just you're at that risk of being more driven when maybe you don't want to be, like it's a Friday night or a Saturday night and you just want to chill out a little bit. Lion's mane is great. Like I think lion's mane, you can use it all the time. When you're on vacation, take some lion's mane, enjoy it. Things seem more interesting. Life has a bit more color. Yeah, but you got to really try it. A lot of people notice that too. Of course, there's going to be the few exceptions who don't. But with lion's mane, what's cool is you can find a specific form of or way of taking it which works for you. Like a lot of people use it more in the morning with caffeine, or they'll take lion's mane coffee. I personally take it 2 to 3 times a day, just like I'm taking Alpha-GPC. Have you ever used any nootropics which cause jaw tension? No, but the other day I put a gram of Phenibut, FAA, the Phenibut-free amino acid, right like under my tongue and left it there for a minute. Man, boy, did it burn. It felt awful, but nothing like that. If you have to pick 6 nootropic supplements only, 2 morning, 2 midday, 2 and 2 at night, what would they be? I'll say an answer, just don't quote me on it for the future, because I've noticed on these live streams, I tend to give answers based on the nootropics that I've been talking about, and I'll just forget some of the best ones, right? Hope that made sense. If you have to pick, 2 in the morning, caffeine, L-Tyrosine, 2 midday, it would be Rhodiola Rosea and let's say Alpha-GPC, and 2 at night. Well, night, assuming like I'm using it prior to going to sleep. Shodan, that's Shodan, the ashwagandha, and a multivitamin. Like, I mean, we need the multivitamin there. This is too difficult. But if you're talking about 2 nootropics for sleep, it would be Shodan and Tribulus terrestris. Maybe a better question is like, if you have to pick some supplements under these circumstances, which would you use, right? But love it. Love the questions. They say the quality of your life is related to the quality of your questions. So ask questions. What else? And what else should I add to my hormone testosterone stack besides Cistanche, Tongkat, TRT gel, zinc, anything else? Well, zinc, yeah, ZMA, that's obviously good. Ashwagandha, some people notice good results with. Just be careful with ashwagandha. It boosts thyroid levels, especially if you're somebody like myself who has a thyroid condition, whether that's hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism. Don't mess that up, because you got to get your blood work done. You have to just pay so much attention to it, and then you finally like tweak it to make it work. So don't take the risk of adding ashwagandha to that. But ashwagandha is one. Tribulus terrestris, I really enjoy that one. And here's the great news. I actually made a video where I ranked nootropics, or I rated nootropics, excuse me, from a scale of 1 to 10 based on their effectiveness with testosterone. So make sure you watch that, because they're all natural supplements. All right. I'm also on pain medication, so my hormones are blunted from that. Ouch. Thoughts on Semax, and what source did you use? So with the source that I used back then, oh man, I don't think it was pure nootropics, but I most commonly used Semax in the nasal spray. Really liked it. You can consider it to be like similar to Noopept, perhaps slightly more energizing and not as short lasting. Like with Noopept, most people are using it 2 to 3 times a day. With Semax, you can use it once, maybe twice a day. It does last a bit longer, but for whatever reason, it's not too common. And also, it's good to see you here. I remember you, of course. Did you have rebound anxiety when using Phenibut? Me personally, no. I also didn't really haven't experienced any rebound or energetic rebound from using Phenylpiracetam and Modafinil. Just the only thing you want to take into consideration is that they may hurt your sleep quality. But I'm very fortunate to find like the Oura Ring. I think nootropics and some of the newer ones I've added have been great. Some of the different practices, I've been using phosphatidylserine. That's been great. But what's really helped me specifically biohacking is my Oura Ring. Like the Oura Ring, it's expensive. What's great though is you do actually get to see every day your stress your tolerance to stress, basically, which is scored by your HRV. It's a very interesting stat, HRV, heart rate variability. Basically, your ability to handle stress. So higher HRV, you can handle more stress. Lower HRV, you can handle less stress. And a lot of that is not just based on your sleep quality, but there's other factors too. For instance, your actual diet. I've eliminated processed foods, or doing my best, eating more chicken breast, and you get to see like kind of what foods are working well for you. And they're pretty obvious stuff. Chicken breast, like lean proteins, obviously eat out as little as possible, but raw vegetables. For whatever reason, when I eat like a salad, have some broccoli, some carrots, it's raises my HRV like crazy. And I'm like, I'm a more disciplined version of myself. I have more willpower. My energy is higher. Just things are going good as a result of being like more mindful. Like you really got to geek out on this stuff. And don't let anyone tell you that you're crazy, which is the hardest part. My teeth are awesome. Thank you for that. I'm doing my best to smile more, which is very hard on these videos because you guys just want the fast-paced stuff, like words coming out of my mouth. Somebody told me, they're like, wow, they watched the video and they're like, I felt like I just went through a marathon. Best sleep stack, excluding melatonin and valerian. Tribulus, I mentioned. Shodan is really good. ZMA, that one's also pretty popular. And you can look at using 5-HTP, though. I've not found it too effective. And if you're going to use melatonin, you'll find that melatonin, like, there's actual like melatonin blends out there, and they're pretty good. Like Gorilla Mind had their Gorilla Dream product. I think they had like an instant release melatonin as well as an extended release. I found that pretty cool. But I've actually made a video for this as well in terms of, I think it's 5 alternatives to melatonin. Let's go. Would you recommend taking modafinil while taking an important exam? Could it impair my testmanship skills? It will impair your testmanship skills. So what I recommend for people on their actual exam day is to take these same nootropics that they were using during the time that they were actually studying. So if you're just using modafinil every single day before your exam, yeah, you don't want to take any risks. You're already used to that state. You don't want to have some sort of energy crash or a rebound. So that's a circumstance in which you would use modafinil. But what you got to understand is one of the big side effects that I personally experience is it does impair your judgment. You don't just your even like your perception of time overall. It's yeah, for sure weaker. And then you're doing a test. You may spend a considerable amount of time on a question that's only worth 5 marks versus a question that's worth 20 marks. How we found pine pollen, used it once for 30 days, didn't notice much from it, but I made a video on it. What is more better for memory, lion's mane or Bacopa or PS? PS stands for phosphatidylserine. So here's the thing. Bacopa, for sure going to be better for memory. Lion's mane, there's no research whatsoever showing it does anything for memory. Phosphatidylserine, that's a tricky one. There is some research showing that it does improve memory, but that's for elder people. And what I would recommend is if you're somebody who just, you have a bad memory plus you have a bad mood, then I would look at something like lion's mane, because lion's mane will improve your mood, and just as a result of being in a better mood, very often your memory seems to work better. But Bacopa is going to be better. I think phosphatidylserine is going to be better when you're in a sleep deprived condition. So for example, when I was studying, when I was finishing my degree, which I was studying finance while selling houses, I was like barely sleeping, and the stack which really worked well for me was using phosphatidylserine along with caffeine, and sometimes using armodafinil, because I like the fact that with armodafinil, it's not super stimulating and like you're able to take strategic naps. But with modafinil, you're just wired. You could try taking a nap, but your eyes are going to be open, or you just be forcing them to be shut. Hope that's helpful. For 3 years, my pharmacy gave me the brand. Okay, cool. What do you like to take the night before to feel great the next day? The same sleep stack, which I mentioned, really. What helps me really feel great the next day is just, I wouldn't say eliminating my use of caffeine, but the common sense thing, using caffeine earlier during the day, eating something good closer to bed. I think eating close to bed is really not as bad as people can make it to be, but be intentional about having like a high protein meal. I actually purposely eat because I typically do practice intermittent fasting. And if you practice intermittent fasting, this is something that you may want to play with. That if you're somebody that, for instance, like you fast for the first 8 hours of your day, that's a scenario in which the night prior, I would actually eat closer to the time that you're sleeping. Yes, it may not be good for your digestive health, but it's the fact like you still got that food going there. Because what's so is when you look at like a general fast and you try it, just try a 24-hour fast, and you'll notice the energy kind of like the energy dips and how that happens. So that's been working pretty well for me. What's a morning mindset exercise? It looks like this. So I train agents on selling houses, and it's funny because when you're training salespeople, it is like 90% mindset and 10% technical. So it typically looks like 10 things you're grateful for, say your affirmations, say a prayer, read 15 pages, exercise, and do something where you have some accountability. But of course, all that goes out the window if you have kids. I've learned that people with kids, there's no personal development happening for them in the morning. They got to find some other ways, right? Hope that's helpful. Oh, there was one thing I missed. There's 6 is visualizations. You got to visualize it. You got to see it in your mind first, right? I threw away my modafinil. Didn't like how it made me feel. Hey man, what about me? Where's the modafinil? Texas, cool. What's the main benefit of Noopept for you? I didn't feel anything yet the first times with it, and it's similar to the Piracetam's. More, like I mentioned, more ambition. You're somewhat stimulated. And what's always with Noopept, like I tell people in the videos, give it some time. You need some sort of objective way of measuring it, because you ingest Noopept every single day, twice a day. You're gonna look back. You're gonna look at things at the end of 30 days, like, man, results are better, more money, better grades. So it's one of those new things. Try to not have an expectation of it. More like it's pretty affordable. Be patient with it. Be consistent. And the same thing can be said about a lot of these nootropics. I think I'm learning from everyone here that I'm making you all have very grandiose expectations of nootropics. Like, yes, they work, but you need to be patient. And the hardest thing for most people is the consistency. Taking it daily, being okay with having to delay gratification. Because even if you get like a 10% benefit from using them, just think about how much that pays you back long term. Yes, I spend a lot of money on nootropics because they pay me back well. No question about it. After using nootropics for so long, I have had experiences when I have tried that and told myself I'm going to be better off without nootropics. So remove this from my stack, and you'll go through that too. I'm just trying to save you all time, right? You mentioned you do 10 affirmations, 10 things you're grateful for. Are the affirmations the same ones every day? If so, where could you find the list? Yeah, send me an Instagram DM. I got my affirmation list, or my assistant can send it to you. You gotta really feel it, because you can say it, right? But you gotta put some emotion behind it. I'm keeping things simple. I say I'm a master delegator, right? You gotta find some affirmations that light you up. Don't keep them super long, kind of incantation things. Tony Robbins has the I'm a gladiator, I'm a gladiator, I'm a gladiator, right? Hello from Orange County, California. What's up? I love California. If I was to move to one place in the US, it would for sure be California. It's like, people in California, you don't even have to move. Everything's there. Got everything. Tongkat Ali dosage protocols for first-time user. So look at the percentage of urocominones. Watch the video accordingly. I'm typically taking 200 milligrams once a day, and typically with the largest meal of the day. The mistake most people make with Tongkat Ali is they make it fasted, and that's a recipe for a disaster, because you take Tongkat Ali fasted, or even if you take it with a light meal, nauseous, headaches, migraines, confusion, just all those feelings you get when you're tired and kind of like something doesn't feel right. So have it with the larger meal of the day. For me personally, and I would say like 80% of people, they can take it in the evening, like their let's say their last meal of the day. But there is the odd person who says don't use it too close to bed because it will keep you up, which would be very surprising to me. And I've not personally found any benefit of using it twice a day. Already answered that question. Is phenylpiracetam a stronger version of piracetam? Guys, don't mind giving this thing a like, give it a thumbs up, and share this live stream with somebody if you care about them. If you don't care about them, don't share it. It's not at all the same, which is one problem with phenylpiracetam. It looks, like maybe an enhanced version of piracetam, but no, phenylpiracetam is more of one of those like emergency nootropics you would use strategically on a day when you really need it. It's totally okay if you only use it a couple of times a month, right? Because you use phenylpiracetam once, you feel energetic, you feel ambitious, your anxiety is significantly lower. Like phenylpiracetam is probably the best thing you can take for door knocking. If you're a salesperson, you just want to go. You have energy, you want to talk to people, you're social. It is really powerful stuff, but there's no benefit of really taking it like 2 or 3 days in a row, because it's more commonly followed by some sort of crash, or it may affect your sleep quality, and then that will set you up for needing more phenylpiracetam the following day. Common dosages seem to be 100 milligrams to 200 milligrams. I am only taking 70, max 100 milligrams. Anything more than that puts you in a place where you're so stimulated you can't even think. You just focus on something and stare at a blank wall. But with stimulation comes a better mood. So again, it can be horribly addicting for that reason. Thoughts on berberine? Berberine, very hyped up for improving insulin sensitivity, making it such that you eat carbs and they're more likely to be shuttled to your muscle cells versus fat. But I think it's, in the grand scheme of things, unless you're diabetic, you'll probably not notice anything from it. And even if you're diabetic, obviously the best thing is going to be exercise. And then you have some supplements which can slightly help out with that, like cinnamon, green tea extract, alpha lipoic acid, chromium. And that's where berberine kind of falls into that category of supplements. I've never heard you talk about phosphatidylserine. That's because you must be newer to my channel. I've made a video on phosphatidylserine. Just search it up. Did you know you can go on my channel and you actually have a magnifying glass and you can search for videos within my actual channel? Because you can do that. You got like the search there, and then you got the search at the top for the YouTube. But just stay on my videos because I'll explain things in a more honest, genuine fashion than most people out there. Or so I hope. Tell me if I'm wrong. Best stack for processing speed and verbal fluency. Something with caffeine. Qualia Mind can actually be good if you're looking for an actual stack, which is what makes the product so good is they put most of my favorite nootropics into one blend, and more importantly, they have the right dosages. So they have something like 90 to 100 milligrams of caffeine. That's going to be really good for processing speed. Excuse me. They've got L-Tyrosine. They have 300 milligrams of Bacopa and Rhodiola Rosea, which is a good enough serving size. I think when you get to 500 milligrams, it can kind of be counterproductive. So that could be good. But if you want to, let's say if you weren't looking at an actual nootropic blend, then the L-Tyrosine, caffeine, Noopept, Alpha-GPC, all four of those are solid. Any recommendations for bipolar disorder? Oh man, absolutely. So what you want to do, avoid sugar entirely, get your exercise in. Anything, any hint you have that your sleep may be off, pay attention to it and either get on meds or just stop doing whatever you were doing. Because the moment your sleep actually gets off track is the time when the symptoms get worse, then you get into hypomania, and then you just get into full-blown mania. So what would be helpful is there's a specific multivitamin called True Hope. True Hope, it's specifically for people almost with like BP type 2. And that one's great. Obviously, omega-3s, like I always mention on my channel, high in EPA, high in DHA. You may actually benefit by doubling up the serving, eating fish. Main thing, avoid sugar, healthy grains, good diet, exercise. Like everything you hear about good lifestyle practices just matter more. And unfortunately, with bipolar disorder, which is the worst, is that depression is like more than twice as common as actual mania. So you're going to have those, those slight little intervals of being in a good mood, but most of the time you're going to be in maybe not the best mood, and that's okay, right? Because you can shuttle that time to be productive. But reach out to me because we'll get through this together. We'll get through this together. We are pulling the rope together. Have you ever taken a nootropic that usually gives you an effect and sometimes you don't feel nothing? Modafinil is a perfect example of that. There are a lot of nootropics out there which are horribly inconsistent. Like they'll work some days they won't. L-Tyrosine is another one, but more commonly that'll happen just when I eat too close to the ingestion of L-Tyrosine. And even phosphatidylserine, I think it's pretty common. Like ashwagandha, I don't usually feel working, but sometimes I feel working. When taking a new nootropic, how do you judge whether it works or not, or is it all in your head, placebo effect? If it was placebo effect, then I don't think anyone would really tune into this channel. My specific strategy would be, or when I first got into nootropics, what I always liked to do was I always liked to try the nootropic first and do my research afterwards. So let's say I remember when Noopept came out, and this was like 2000, or not, didn't it came out, but it really got a lot of attention, and people were talking like the best things of it in 2014. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to try Noopept. I don't want to read too much about it. I already know it's worth trying. It looks somewhat safe. And then 30 to 60 days after ingesting it, I kind of had some clues. Is like, does it do this? And then I did my homework on it, and it did. So that was pretty cool. But also, like, now research is available. And back then, 2014 prior, like there was hardly anything you could find about Noopept. You couldn't find studies. You couldn't find research. Like even now, you can't find any studies on it itself. So that works. And as well, I think just for like generally for entrepreneurs, they will tend to gravitate towards nootropics because they're more into investing in themselves, because investing in themselves more, more easily just allows them to see that immediate return versus other jobs. And I totally respect everyone who has a job like 9 to 5, and there's nootropics out there which can help you too. But as an entrepreneur, you're just very sensitive to what's working, what's not working, people in your life who are either helping you, not helping you, books you read, and you're just trying to get better every single day, right? I don't know the answer to that question. Can piracetam, citicoline, alcar, N-acetyl, L-Tyrosine, taurine, vitamin C, B complex be taken together? Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that. Not that I recommend it, but these are great ingredients. I've probably used them before, probably not vitamin C in pre-workout complex. Alcar doesn't really do too much. N-acetyl L-tyrosine, people ask about that one. It hits you pretty fast, N-acetyl L-tyrosine, but it's not anywhere as powerful as L-tyrosine, nor does it last as long, but really great for concentration overall. Same question as before. Yeah, comment if you ask that question again. I gotta hide your comments or maybe kick you out depending on how I'm feeling. Sorry about that. Anti-forgetfulness Newt. Tell me more about the anti-forgetfulness. Happy Diwali. Yeah, happy Diwali, everyone. I think it's on Monday. My stack now, Ashwagandha, Bacopa, lion's mane, L-Tyrosine. Okay, how much to take? I can answer how much to take. Ashwagandha, 300 to 500 milligrams. Bacopa, same thing. Lion's mane, same thing. L-Tyrosine, 500 to 750 milligrams is good. If it's for pre-workout use, you can get away with taking about a gram of L-Tyrosine. That can be good. B complex, absolutely no idea what's good these days because every supplement out there with B complex seems to be 300% of daily value plus, and the same thing can be said with vitamin C. Depends how you're using them though, right? Ashwagandha gave me side effects and it dried out my skin. The experience was horrible. Very interesting, Kunal. So I'm making a video next week. I want you all to stay tuned for because it really helps when people are there for the premiere and just launch out the video, right? And it's how to combat the ashwagandha side effects. So we already know ashwagandha is great. We already know ashwagandha has side effects. But what if there's a way you could actually combat those side effects and still reap the benefits of ashwagandha? That's what we're going to talk about. What do you recommend for social confidence? That would be lion's mane, Piracetam, Alpha-GPC. All those are good. But lion's mane is really going to help you be present, make you just more interested in people to begin with. And when you're interested in people, they can feel it, right? When you're talking to somebody, you got to look them in their eyes and genuinely show an interest. Like, wow, you're an interesting person. That's what lion's mane does. You're not distractible. You're not focused on 10 people. You're wanting to see things with a bit more depth. And as a result, you're just showing people a lot more respect. So it's good. But social confidence, it's going to happen through talking to a lot of people. I've made over 10,000 cold calls, probably like 30,000, 40,000. Just go talk to people, meet new people. It does help that I live alone, like just with my dog. I'm trying to meet new people all the time. But it's also because I sell residential real estate. It is somewhat of a social job. I'm a very shy, introverted person by nature, but all of these things can be trained. Everything can be trained. The way you think can be trained. So talk to more people. It's good. Yeah, no, of course I remember. I'm on Nootropics. I remember things. I remember your comments. I remember you posted some comments that were not so supportive of my channel, bro. What's up with that? I'm just joking. What's your current ideology on what draws the line from Nootropic and Research Chemical? I get confused. When it comes to research chemical, where I get most concerned or skeptical or not want to take is just with some of the newer ones. When you see some of the compounds out there, not tried, tested, and true like some of the other ones, like Noopept, Piracetam, probably doesn't fit like the whole natural category, but they've been around for a very long time. I've used them now for a few years, and people ask if they've negatively affected me, to which I say no. Really haven't, which is pretty crazy when I stop and think about it. Like Piracetam, Piracetam, Oxiracetam, Piracetam, probably not Piracetam, but like use those for 6-7 years almost every single day. Like, guys, nootropics don't really destroy your brain if you think that's the case. And sorry if I do skip over your question just for the sake of time. Still got some more work to do. What do you think now about Mucuna Pruriens compared to other stuff? It's always been thumbs down, Mucuna Prurien. The promise with it is that it does increase dopamine levels. But if you actually want to see a noticeable benefit and increase dopamine levels to get you to work, then L-Tyrosine is going to be much better, which doesn't make any sense because the mechanism of action in which L-Tyrosine converts to dopa is very different, and you could say less efficient than using Mucuna Pruriens. Recommended nootropics to increase serotonin, 5-HTPs, pretty much I think either the only one which exists or by far the most powerful. Dopamine, like I mentioned, it's going to be L-Tyrosine, Mucuna Pruriens, or PEA, which some people use. How would you overcome a dependence on nootropics? Exercise every day, of course, right? Have you tried Quantum Mind? Don't know what Quantum Mind is. Oh, this is cool. This is real rapid fire. Is Huperzine-A caffeine rhodiola a good sub for phenylpiracetam? caffeine, Rhodiola Rosea, L-Tyrosine. Using those, the more important thing though is you got to understand with phenylpiracetam, it lasts the whole day. Ingest it once in the morning, you feel it the whole day. So the only way you can reap that same benefit is by spacing out your use of caffeine. So the most caffeine you ever want to take is 400 milligrams. Even that's very high, right? Get 300 milligrams, divide it into 6 servings, take that within the first 8 hours of you waking up, and you'll kind of feel kind of like the most similar to phenylpiracetam. Because with phenylpiracetam, the end of the day comes like, man, you are just energetic. You want to go take a sprint. So what could really work well though, along with that, like using your caffeine at the end in the second half of the day, having some sort of nootropic stack just to re-energize you. So phosphatidylserine, that one's great. Alpha-GPC, that one's great, and L-Tyrosine, because they're really going to fight off fatigue, get you clear-minded and able to perform. I'm not on CRT. This was 9 years, maybe, yeah, probably about nine years ago. Okay, sorry if that was the case, Colma. It was the repetitive kind of questions in the same nature, so I apologize. What are your thoughts on DHEA and don't know how to pronounce that? Don't know much about DHEA. Not tried it. Sorry, I got a little bit confused with some of the acronyms. Do I have to cycle off Tribulus? Not. It's not as important as people may perceive it to be. Like I've been using at least 1 gram. Yeah, like 1 gram a day. More often 2 grams a day, spacing it up morning and then in the evening. And I've not really found any need to cycle off. But I think it is good just to cycle off here and there because just for the sake of the fact that there's not a lot of research done on Tribulus long term to see how people have responded to taking it after several years. So for that reason, when I run out of it, I'll typically wait about a week or so before using it. But it's pretty light, really does help with sleep quality. My daily current stack, 6 a.m. Sorry guys, I'm a bit distracted. I'm like just like reading how many comments there are. Like whoa, my assistant is leaving soon. Caffeine, Gingko, Bacopa, Rhodiola Rosea, Alpha-GPC before breakfast, Alpha-GPC, Noopept. Thoughts, suggestions, good, bad. I think it's great. Nothing wrong with that. The Alpha-GPC, you've got there twice, which is important because Alpha-GPC, like it's as you go about your day, the way I describe it, your focus diminishes, your batteries somewhat need to be restored, and that's where Alpha-GPC could be very good. And I would add some Rhodiola Rosea in the afternoon because that's more often when you're going to need Rhodiola Rosea, given that it's an agent that will help you to fight off fatigue. You're not going to, in most cases, wake up very fatigued, so it'll be more effective if you use it that way. I've been subscribed for 3 years. Bro, I said sorry, man. Mr. SpongeBob, Coma, I apologize, but I can answer that better on Discord or Patreon. Guys, like YouTube has rules, man. It's common sense. Currently, I'm using shilajit and ginseng for overall health benefits. Please suggest me some nootropics for fat loss. So caffeine is going to be the most effective thing. Caffeine with L-Tyrosine is going to be effective for fat loss. And yohimbine, which I've talked about, I don't really recommend it because you get anxious. It has some really negative side effects. But if you really understand the strategic use of yohimbine, that will help you to really lean out, to be at that stage that for men, I think like anything less than a true 11% body fat is pretty darn lean. And without some of these supplements out there or strategies like using yohimbine, using fasted cardio or fasting in general, right? It's very difficult to get, sub 10%. So that's where yohimbine can be a good practice and be good. And most nootropics actually really don't do too much in terms of fat loss. The other one you can consider taking anytime that I've really leaned out, it's been with the help of green tea extract or just drinking green tea. It blunts appetite. It does help with fat loss to some extent because of the ECGC, plus it has a little bit of caffeine. So that's a good one. I got bromontane and nootropic source. It's hard to tell if it works. Really hard to tell if bromontane works. I took some today. Yeah, increase dopamine or boost your drive and whatever we hear about it. It is like a very in-demand nootropic people want to know more about. So I'll be using it more, but guys, I hate to say, like I use it, I don't really notice much from it. I wish I did. Would you say that Alpha-GPC is the best supplement for muscle strength? No, I think it's a good nootropic supplement to take pre-workout. It may help with muscle strength to some extent and growth hormone, but the research is kind of inconclusive that way. For muscle strength, you're going to have better luck with plain old creatine. Creatine, water, beta-alanine, L-citrulline or citrulline malate, which are typical ingredients in a pre-workout formula, they're gonna do well for you. And of course, you aspire to build muscle. eat more consume more calories, have some whey protein. Whey protein, don't sleep on your whey protein. Whey protein isolate specifically post-workout will definitely help you with your strength gains. And BCAAs are pretty overrated. I think I'm allergic to ashwagandha, and that's why I got the side effect of the dry skin. Yeah, it could be the case. Cistanche already addressed it. Okay, cool. Don't see a question there. Yo, Karma's not getting no love. Can you take phenylpiracetam every day, or do I have to cycle off? Alex already addressed this one, but what else is we going? Is a 5-day cycle of Qualia Mind more efficient than multiple nootropics through the day? A 5-day cycle of Qualia Mind. I'm not sure what you mean, but is using Qualia Mind once in the day going to be more effective than multiple nootropic stacks during the day? Nope. I would say you're better off taking multiple nootropic stacks during the day. Qualia Mind, yes, there's a lot of ingredients, but you can't ignore the fact, like with Qualia Mind, you're using it once, right? You're going to get you're getting, I think it's 90 to 100 milligrams of caffeine. It's not going to last the whole day. The energy is not going to last you the whole day. But it's also with the assumption that Qualia Mind is not meant to be an Adderall replacement. Although it's just a very powerful nootropic, and they've done a good job just kind of keeping things simple. The way that I see Qualia Mind or nootropic blends is if somebody questions the use of nootropics, do they actually work? You can show them something like Qualia, nice branding, looks great. Obviously, it's on the pricier side. They can get to know whether or not they work, and then they can kind of like deconstruct the formula that way, and you can really show them what kind of ingredients are responsible for what. Like Rhodiola Rosea, it's in most nootropic blends out there. I think it's in MindLab Pro, or MindLab Pro is the one which does have lion's mane, and it's good that way. But Qualia Mind, I don't like it pre-workout. I know a lot of people use it pre-workout. For me, it doesn't have enough caffeine, and it also doesn't really have ingredients that are going to really support your workout, whether that's building muscle or losing fat. Like, that's not what the product is for. Andre, cool. Don't quote me on this. If you had to choose 3 nootropics for the rest of your life, which ones and why? They would be Rhodiola Rosea, caffeine, and let's say Piracetam. Yeah, I think those ones kind of work well together. Any ideas on preventing the afternoon crash after taking 0.25 milligrams of modafinil in the morning? Very cool. So what's really worked well with me with modafinil is following ingestion. Sometime within that first hour, I will mix some sea salt, lemon juice. I'll take a bit of potassium, which you can find in capsules typically. They can be a little bit expensive getting potassium tabs, but just drinking a whole lot of water, and then I'll use way more alpha-GPC than typically, which I think is okay. I saw a pre-workout formula out there with 500 milligrams of alpha-GPC. I thought that was on the high side. So days I use modafinil, it's pretty common. I would take up to like maybe 800 milligrams of alpha-GPC in total. And water-rich foods, don't sleep on those. So have a salad. Don't have salad dressing if you're on a weight loss diet or something. But water-rich foods are one really efficient way to make sure that you're consuming enough water. Nobody drinks enough water, and yeah, that's even worse, of course, when you're taking modafinil. Oh man, should I take Rhodiola Rosea when I'm tired? Yes. Best thing you can do is, if you can't nap, that's why they call Rhodiola Rosea a nap in a pill. That's how it is. How often use oxiracetam a week? I heard it should be used as needed. Depends who you ask, because it is somewhat stimulatory. Like, I work almost every single day, so I'm using oxiracetam every day. But with piracetam and aniracetam, it's really important that you don't miss a dose. With oxiracetam, not as important. You can get away with, missing a day of use. But piracetam, it's hard to make that same argument. Some herbs don't work well in my body. Some herbs work well in my body and some don't. That's smart. I think that's a good approach. And what else we got here? Any nootropics that help you gain weight that's healthy and gives the same energy other than whey protein and creatine? I listed some of them, but prior to that, consume more whey protein. Don't sleep on your healthy fats. It's so easy to get calories in your diet. I don't think people realize that. Like, get some almond butter, have some avocado fats. Remember, 1 gram of fat, 9 calories. 1 gram of carbs or 1 gram of protein, that's 4 calories, right? Plus the fact that they're just, you have protein, it blunts hunger a lot of the times. Fat does to some extent, but it takes a bit longer for that to happen. What are some good, trustworthy brands that sell Shilajit? Cultivate Elevate, that was a good one. They actually have Shilajit in the actual dropper. I enjoyed that. Thanks, Hopeful. I appreciate you. Have you tried NSI 189 and what was your source? I'll tell you about my experience. I won't tell you my source. Oh my gosh, what a nootropic. I actually have some of it. I need to take it again. So NSI 189 is supposedly, or this is how it was hyped up to be. The first time I took it was 2014 actually, and you take it for about a month or a shorter time, depending on if you want to use it twice a day or once a day. And the promise is that it can help to reverse any sort of damage you've had from being depressed. And the first time I used it, wow, I definitely noticed it was a lot more easier to create new habits, surprisingly. Slightly better mood, not that stimulating, but it definitely did work. And then sometime about 6 months later, I took my NSI 189 again for a month, and I just noticed kind of like diminishing results. So it's a super cool nootropic. Again, I have some more of it that I'm gonna go ingest it, and I have made a video kind of giving just talking about that experience with NSI 189 in a lot more detail. And what is your current stack? If you already said it. Okay, I think you're talking Tacoma. How does Semax peptide compare to the racetams? It's really not that great, Semax. It's if you notice something from Noopept, it may be slightly better. You'll feel slightly smarter, like not Elon Musk style or anything. So it's pretty overhyped. For low thyroid, tested in T3 is below 2. Can supplements help, or perhaps Cytomel is going to help? So I'm currently using 50 micrograms of Cytomel a day. It is the most expensive nootropic that I currently take, but hopefully you can get insured somehow. But a lot of GPs don't like giving Cytomel. They prefer giving Synthroid, which acts on T4. And I actually challenged my endocrinologist on this, and I said, Cytomel just works better for me. Like T3 works better for me. And he was like, and then he eventually actually found a study or found some research showing that Cytomel, perhaps like people do actually, so there's like a small percentage of people that actually do respond better to Cytomel. So I happen to be one of those people, and been enjoying it because you have low thyroid, hard to lose weight. Weight gain is more common. You can't build muscle. You're in a worse mood. I'd much rather have a high thyroid, right? But the issue with having a high thyroid is you just can't sleep. The maltodextrin is the most effective weight gainer. Yeah, it's like sugar. You're consuming sugar, of course. And I'm glad that you were here too, Evil Kitty. Guys, all these questions about racetams, like Discord. Don't be asking this stuff on my live stream. You're giving me too much work. Got to clean this thing up. I have people asking good, genuine questions, wishing me happy Diwali. And now I'm seeing all this. Come on, guys. How do I join your Discord? I'll put it in the description box, but it's in the description of any of my other videos. Why am I pointing? The videos aren't that way. That's the window. Damn, I think I need to try NSI when it reverses damage from depression. No, do some homework on it. Go on like Reddit. If ever I'm skeptical about a nootropic or just want to see some experiences, like Reddit is one place, at least whether or not it's true or it's not true, it's okay, and you can get some discussion going, and helps to stimulate the mind and help you go and research things effectively. But it's, yeah, it was pretty cool. All right, cool. Best supplements for libido. Already talked about that. And guys, I think we're gonna end it at that. I'll get some timestamps below. I appreciate your support. This channel is at its 4 year anniversary. Man, I support you guys more than you know. I remember everyone here, or hope to. I always get to the questions, just the comments in my YouTube video. You'll see that I'll like them. I'll give them a heart. That I'll typically answer them within the next couple of days. So that's probably the fastest way to get a hold of me. If you message me on Instagram, it's there. It's like I get to it eventually. But unfortunately, the way to really get my attention and get an answer faster is by writing a comment on my YouTube videos. And I think you should do that. I think it's good because you don't want to be selfish. Keep your question all contained, right? You asking a question, there's going to be other people out there who may have the same question, right? So let's all contribute together. Let's grow. And if you're a real estate agent looking to grow your business, of course, DM me. I can expose you to my training. It's pretty affordable. Appreciate you guys. Happy Diwali, those who are celebrating. You guys are the best. I will talk soon. Cheers. Bye.